Hello and welcome to this chess video. I'm playing Baker Street Bishop, who is my friend in real life outside of chess.com, and he's also around my level, USCF. So we're about 1900s. We did play a blitz match before, and now we're playing a 15-minute game for higher quality chess. So he plays e5, which he knows annoys me. So I'm thinking about how I want to approach this. Because I don't want to go for this main Ruy Lopez stuff. What other stuff do I have? I'm gonna do something weird that Nakamura did once. It's theoretically not good at all, but it might work here. Also, he is doing commentary on his side, so after the game we're gonna post both of our thoughts of the game that we had during the game. So bishop c4, and my next idea is actually to just go for the fool's mate with queen h5. Totally unsound, not really a good idea according to theory. Might work against a 5-year-old, but I have seen Nakamura play it once, so it might be interesting. So of course I don't expect him to get checkmated in 4 moves. Okay, so he just prevented that. I guess that's possible as well. Is there any way I can get out of mainline theory stuff? Could I play knight f3? Is that a move? No. So let's just play this, protecting my pawn. Because I might not want to put my knight on c3. I might want to develop my knight to d2, which I think I will do. So this just turned into a sort of Italian game, Gioco Piano, which I play anyway. So I wanted to get out of theory, but I don't think he let me. Now h6 is not really a move, I don't think. I was thinking if I could play f4 here, since I haven't put my knight on f3 yet. And he did also waste a tempo with h6. I don't think h6 was that impressive. If f4, I was thinking he might have d5, but he doesn't. Let's see, does f4 work? No, f4 isn't that good, because he'll have bishop c5, preventing me from castling, potentially. And I don't want to run into that stuff, so I'm just going to play sensibly. Sensible chess. Just developing. Just developing. So this is interesting. It's sort of the mainline Gioco Piano, except I think black is sort of a tempo down. I don't think h6 was that useful. If anything, I think it might have weakened his king a little bit, unnecessarily. But let's see. It's just a small move. Okay, so I do think he's playing down a tempo from the normal lines. Is there any way to take advantage of this? Not sure. Not sure. So I think I want to play c3 anyway. Preparing eventually to play d4 when the time is right. When the time is right. I'm trying to remember if black might have d5 here. I don't think so, especially because he's kind of lagging in development. Yeah, I don't think d5 is that good. That good here. It shouldn't be. So I think castling is a normal option. Maybe putting the pawn onto d6. This pawn onto d6 is normal. I think those are really his two best options in this opening. If d6, I'm just going to play h3 to prevent his bishop from coming out here. If castles, I think I'm going to play h3 anyway to prevent that before it happens. Prophylaxis. So, he's thinking. I'm not sure exactly what he's thinking about. He might be thinking about d5. d5, pawn takes, knight takes. And I think I might just have knight takes e5. Then, yeah, if d5, pawn takes, knight takes, I think I just have knight takes e5. If knight takes rook e1, possibly, and I think I might be netting that knight back. We'll see. His king will be stuck in the center. Yeah, I think I will be netting that knight back, because in the end I always have d4 available, so I think d5 would just be a blunder here. I don't think d5 works. But in this opening you do always have to be wary of d5 as an option, because if black can get that in successfully, black is usually just fine. So once again, normal moves would be castling and d6. I don't know why he's thinking for so long. Okay. So he is anticipating my d4 push, so that when I play d4, his bishop isn't under attack. Okay, but I think he's playing very slowly here. So I'm wondering if there's any way to take advantage of this immediately. So normal moves would be, well, I can't play d4 yet because e4 hangs. So I could play rook e1. I could play knight to d2. Well, with rook e1, I think he has knight g4. Knight g4, rook e2. It's a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit awkward, but I think it's fine. Rook e1, knight g4. Why even let knight g4 happen? I think I'm going to play h3 anyway, so I'll just go ahead and play that. Okay, now I want to play rook e1. So I have a little bit of advantage on the clock, and I want to keep it that way so that when I do have to go into a think, I have that available to me. I don't go into time trouble. So I think I'm playing normally, and he's wasted a couple. Bishop b6 I think was probably okay. h6 I really don't like this move. So d6. Very good. This is normal. And do I want to play d4 immediately? Is d4 immediately an okay move? No, I don't really threaten anything, so I want to continue moving my pieces forward before I commit myself to a pawn move. So now he actually has bishop e6, neutralizing my bishop. Bishop e6 would neutralize my bishop. And see, one unfortunate thing about h6 is if I take, pawn takes, his king side is weakened on the light squares. It would be better if his pawn was on h7. So I think actually bishop e6 is not as great an option as it would be normally. Okay. So the idea with that was so that he could play knight a5, trapping my bishop with his knight, which would be good for him because this bishop is quite strong. So I'm going to retreat my bishop so that when he plays knight a5, or if he were to play it, I can retreat my bishop to c2. So I'm pretty comfortable here. Just a slow positional game. I think he has trouble developing this light squared bishop now. Bishop d7 isn't really a... Bishop d7 is not a useful developing move. Like I said, bishop e6, I just take, and the light squares are weak here. And my pawns cover both the f5 and g4 square. So black is probably feeling a little bit cramped here. Some ideas for white are knight f1 and rerouting either to e3 or to g3. Okay, so he does do knight a5. Let's think. I think I was going to retreat my bishop. And so he's going for some Ruy Lopez stuff. But this is not right, because the bishop is in front of the b6 pawn, usually b7 pawn. Usually you want to push both of these pawns, and the bishop belongs on e7. So I think this bishop is going to be misplaced now. So, yeah, I don't think this is that impressive for black. Then again, the onus is on me to prove it. The burden of proof is on me, that is. So, any way to take advantage of that misplaced knight? b4, takes, nothing happens, right? So looking at b4, takes, knight there. If there's any way I can like attack this bishop or something. But I don't think I have to do anything immediate. I think if I just play slowly and positionally, his pieces are just going to end up not coordinated. So I might just continue with my plans of knight f1. But let me just think if there's anything better. When you see, I forget who said it, but there's a famous chess quote, when you see a good move, look for a better one. And I really like that quote. So I didn't find a better one, so I'm just playing knight f1. Sometimes in short time controls, maybe the rule should be, when you see a good move, play it. Because with limited time, sometimes you don't have the opportunity to find the best move. So I'm looking to reroute my knight to e3 or g3. Not sure which one is better. It depends on where he puts his pieces. So one idea for black is to reroute this knight to h5 and then to f4, if that's possible. He can also now develop his bishop to e6, but because my bishop is no longer here. So he does have some good moves. Bishop e6, I'm actually looking at this pawn break with d4. Looking at that now. I think d4 looks pretty good. Bishop c7. So this bishop is really awkward because it's stuck behind its own pawns, right? Do I want to play d4 now, or do I want to wait and prepare? It's very hard to discern the timing of these pawn pushes sometimes. Never sure if it's just right. So I think I'm gonna go for it. So now he got out of the way so he can play b5, but I think he's wasting a lot of time. I think he is just wasting some time here. So I'm just grabbing some space in the center. I think he might play b5. That's a normal Ruy Lopez move. But it's not the Ruy Lopez because his bishop is really just not in the right place. And h6. These are both not normal moves you see in that opening. So, b5. He got the bishop out of the way to play this move. Sure. Now, could play something like a4 to challenge these pawns. I'm thinking about stuff like that. A4. Not sure. Hmm. Also, do I have to even touch my queen side? Could close the center. I could close the center with d5. Just not sure about the timing of all of this. Whether it's good. I think I want to wait for his bishop to get to b7 before I commit to d5. So I'm going to wait for him to see where his bishop is going. Whether it's staying on this diagonal or if it's going to this diagonal. So instead I'm going to just push this pawn. Challenge that queen side. That queenside pawn mass. So there's still a lot of pieces on the board. That's one thing that's good about the Ruy Lopez. The fact that you retain a lot of pressure and a lot of chances to win or to lose. Because there's a lot of pieces. So like I said, now that he committed his bishop to that square, now I'm going to close that. I'm also looking at ideas of occupying this f5 square now that the bishop left that diagonal. So now that it's not there, I can go knight g3 to f5, which is a beautiful outpost for the knight. Also, by pushing d5, I'm making sure that this bishop is hemmed in by its own pawn. So I think positionally, this is pretty successful out of the opening for white. But the question is whether I can make anything of it. So I have a wedge in the center. I have a little bit of pressure on the queen side. I'm looking to see if I can stir up any kingside play. I'm looking to see if I can stir that up. Possibly. So yeah, I'm also looking at stuff like I know that this is sometimes a plan. Knight h2 to g4. Okay, so he's making way for this bishop onto the b6 square. This is true. Is there any downsides to that move? Possibly. So I hit the Ruy Lopez, which makes this hard for me to play. He also gains the b3 square potentially for his knight. I don't want to trade these pawns just yet, do I? No. So, I'm looking at g4 before I move my knight onto g3. g4 looks like an interesting idea. I'm just looking at what his plan is. I'm trying to figure out what his counterplay is. I'm not sure if he has b4, no. If g4, he's probably going to move his bishop to b6. But I don't think it does much. So let's just gain space on the king side now. Just maintaining the pressure. I don't see any serious counterplay. But I'm probably missing something. I usually do. So he did solve the problem with this bishop, but then there's also the problem with this bishop and this knight. And while everything's stuck on the queen's side, I'm going to try to soften up his king. So I think this is a pretty good game so far. Pretty interesting. No immediate blunders like we sometimes have in Blitz. And that's always refreshing. So I think this is positionally very hard for Black to play. Very difficult for him to find an active plan, while White's plans kind of come naturally. Okay, so that's an indication that something didn't go right in Black's camp. Now, I think now I might want to take on the b5 takes, so that there's a pin on the rook. That looks kind of mean, and I like to be mean sometimes. That knight's not going anywhere anyway, so why worry about it? Just gonna keep developing my pieces. Again, this bishop and this knight are his two problem pieces. Okay, so he retreats with the knight. And he's kind of running low on time. So he wants to maybe go knight g4. Knight g5. I don't think that's spectacular for Black. I don't want to go knight f5 just yet. I think I'm going to do this. Get my king out of the way. Protect the h3 pawn. Prepare this push, and someday my rook might come to g1 and exert pressure on the king. Someday. So if knight g5, I'm actually looking at knight h4 as a response. Does that work tactically? You might just have knight takes e4. You might just have knight takes e4 takes... Yeah, knight takes e4 just solves the problem. So... he's going for this b4 push, I think. Is that an issue? Let's just open up my rook. Now that he's off the a-file, my rook can exert pressure and isn't challenged. And that's nice. So, do I want to play a g5 here? He didn't really prevent it. If he goes here, I think his counterplay is too slow. So g5 takes, knight take, well, he's protecting it, so I can't do g5. Knight f5. So g5, I only have 2 protectors, he had 2 defenders, he has 3 attackers. Doesn't work. I'm looking at like rook g1 to prepare. Then I'm going to play knight f5. And takes, my rook is already on the file of the king. So I think that's more accurate than putting the knight on f5 immediately. So I'm going for a kingside attack now. Okay, the knight finally comes back into the game. But it's probably another case of the too little too late scenario. I'm just looking to see if I can really punish that. It's coming to c5. I don't think so. It's coming to c5. I'm looking at like rook a7. No. Can I do anything about this pawn? No. Possibly I missed something. I think his pieces are pretty misplaced. I'm looking at his kingside. So I think this is kind of just a positional squeeze here. Okay. He takes... Do I take with the f-pawn or the g-pawn? I was originally going to take with the g-pawn to open up my rook. Yeah, I'm going to take with the g-pawn. Okay, so he's just running with the king. I'm looking at like knight 8. Well, knight h4 would hang a piece. That's not good. How do I finish him off? How do I put him away? That's what I was looking for. I'm just trying to figure out maybe if I could play slowly. Just play slowly, or if there's some knockout tactical blow. Should be 6, takes. F6 doesn't do anything. I'm looking at like rook g4. Rook g4, he just has knight f6. So let's develop a piece. He's also pretty low in time. Okay, so he's trading off my dark square bishop. Maybe my move was not the most accurate. Although now crap. Okay. I'm looking at bishop takes h6 ideas. Okay. Didn't let me do that. F6 isn't working. This is well played, I guess, so far by him. Well defended. So I'm just going to increase the pressure on that g7 pawn. Probably not the most accurate play on my part. There must have been some knockout blow. Okay. F6. Can I make F6 work? Knight takes. Ah, doesn't work. Do I have to take? What's going on? I'm looking to see if I can make this pawn sacrifice work. Oh, I just looked at knight takes. Did not even look at queen takes. Okay, I messed that one up. Okay, I'm just gonna have to play on his short time now. I'm gonna have to just take this. Oh my god. What a disaster. What a disaster. Okay, what a disaster, man. Oh, I just gave him the exchange. Although I attacked the rook too. Okay, let's go here. Oh, I gave up the f2 pawn. Ah, what a great game, and then disaster. Yeah, what a something. That's something. Let's just attack the queen. I think a draw is a fair result. Okay, doesn't want the draw. Gonna attack his rook, try to be tricky. I'm gonna protect my knights and attack the rook. Gonna take his rook. Alright. Okay, he's going for stuff. Now I have a check on c8. Oh, there's an increment, I think. Check here. Okay. Let's protect everything. And then attack the e4 point. Okay, let's go for this check. Check here. I'm just going to check and gain some time. Okay, check here. Oh my god. The increment is killing me. So I'm going to come around this way. Just doing these checks to gain some time. And then I want to march this b2 pawn up the board. This is so complicated. Alright, he has a check down there. Oh my god, I just blundered that pawn. Okay. He has so many pawns for that rook. Let's see if I can get the queens off. Force the queens off. And I should be able to convert this. Okay. Whew. Ugly game. That was a 70 move game. So, thank you for watching.